everyone, I'm Marcie Besecker, an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up from Clovis, California. Welcome. I hope you had a great weekend. I'm sure football was probably part of your weekend. I am not a huge football fan because I don't really understand it, but I do have a son that is now going to be 34 this year, and he is very into sports, and football is one of them. Baseball, football, and he loves it. So we are a huge 49er family because we live not very far from there, and my son was actually at the game yesterday in the rain. They had ponchos on, dripping wet, and we got to spend the day with Grayson. Hi Kathy, how are you? Hi Marcia. Hi Carol. Marva, welcome. Ooh, 10 degrees. No, thank you. Hi Susan, welcome. Trina and Carol, Brenda, Janine, welcome everybody from Australia. Donna, Corey. Oh, I just got a message pop up, and it was me coming live. So if you make sure you subscribe and like the video, and then you'll get a notification that that my videos are going live. So mine just popped up on my phone. Hello Holly, how are you? Susan, welcome. Watching the Chiefs game. Hi Leslie, how are you? Hi Stephanie, a break from football, yay. Janine, Carol, Diana, welcome. Hi Diane. And Carolyn, welcome. From Oregon. So my daughter is in Oregon, and I mentioned that she was without power, I think 4 days. They did get their power back on, but now they can't drink their water. So they have to boil water. Yay, Michelle, caught me live. Hi, Melody, how are you? So we had Grayson yesterday, and we decided, what were we going to do? So we decided to go see Wonka. And it was so funny because we get to the movie theater, we're all sitting there, we got the reclining seats, we have our popcorn, and my grandson says, Ani, you know, I usually fall asleep at the movies. He's 5, remember? And I said, oh, you do? Okay. And he said, but I'm going to try and stay awake. I said, okay. Not 5 minutes into the show, he turns towards me and he lays his head on the back of his, That is him. He's just sleeping. So I look over at him, and I was going to tell my husband, oh, look, he's asleep. My husband, head back. Now, I didn't think the movie was that bad. I thought it was okay. The movie was different than what I thought, but I liked it. It's supposed to be before the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie. And I didn't know what to expect. Once it was musical at the beginning, there's not a lot of music, but there is music. My husband was checked out. He was like, oh, this is a musical, asleep. But right after I saw both of them, I took a picture, and did I remember my flash was going to come on in the middle of the theater? No, but we were in the back row. So I took a picture of them both sound asleep. I wish I could show it to you, but he would kill me. But right after the picture, my husband's like waving at me, and I look over, and he's like, he's asleep. And I'm like, I saw both of you sleeping. And he was like, so it was funny. I caught them both, and I got a picture. I sent it to my son and my daughter-in-law. They just were busting up. And then my sister-in-law on Facebook said, oh, I bet brother just loved it. And I was like, oh yeah, here's a picture of both of them. I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it. Anyway, it was kind of funny. I think it was enjoyable, and I like to kind of see that what it was before the movie, the actual Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, so I thought it was okay. I liked it. So we did that. Then we came home and watched football. So my son, being the football person he is, we were watching the game, the rest of the game, because we went out to eat after the movie, and we were ahead. Then we got home, not so much ahead. And my grandson's like, oh, that's Brock Purdy. I don't know who that is. But that's Brock Purdy. It was on the commercial. And they're like, yes, that is Brock Purdy. And then there was, oh, that's McCaffrey. And he's pointing these people out. And I'm like, okay. I won't go to theaters. They freak me out with how dirty they are. Yeah, Deborah, I keep my purse on my lap. I don't put it down. And the clothes go right into the laundry when I leave. So I don't touch, I touch my popcorn, and I sit there. And that's pretty much it. I don't put my hands on the seats. In fact, I kind of wiggle into my seat. And I lifted my grandson and put him up in the seat, but you can't control him. But I get it. They can be pretty bad. Ours were all redone. All of our theaters were redone, which was kind of nice. So last week's bingo was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, everybody, for participating. We had some really great projects and had a lot of fun with that. So thank you. February bingo is coming. It is $40, same as usual, even though postage has gone up yet again today. It is 4 projects, 4 games, 4 $100 prizes, a crafty night of fun. Remember, I send the packages after. Your packages for January went out the very next day. There's a link below for February's bingo, and you can register now for that. I haven't been to a movie in forever. Greetings from Australia. Hi, Jeanette. Olympia, Washington. Hello, and hi, Nicole. How are you? So we have bingo. I'm glad you enjoyed bingo. We have bingo coming up. It's going to be the 21st. I try to do it around the middle of the month. It's Valentine's Day. I'm leaving town the next day. I went ahead and made it the 21st. So I am working on bingo now. So if you'd like to register for that, that would be fantastic. The B class, I am recording tomorrow. Everything is ready. The packages are ready to mail. I'm going to do the recording tomorrow. They will probably go out in the mail on Tuesday. I told you there was going to be a little prize in there. I was going to do a drawing for those that are participating. I will draw at the beginning of the video. The video is a private video just for the class. That is still available. I have a few kits left, so if you're interested, you do need to purchase the suite. If you haven't purchased it and you purchase it through me, the class is free. But you need to make sure you register for the class, please, because I want to make sure I have your correct address and everything. Oh yeah, people do bring blankets. My grandson said, "Are we going to bring a blanket?" No. We are dressing warm. So we did that. All right, let's see. And of course, there is a join special. I would love to have you join my team. I have the glass mat, as you know, and I love it. Or you can get the $30 extra in product if you choose. But I would love to have you. I know I don't say a lot, but liking and subscribing to my video really helps my business, and I appreciate it so much. So thank you. And of course, sharing just grows my business. So thank you again for that. Oh, thank you, Deborah. Okay, so our next trip, somebody asked me what our next trip is, and it is Oregon. We'll be going up to Oregon. We're driving this time to go see my granddaughter. She is in a cheer performance. So we're going to go a little early to see her cheer performance because her birthday is at the end of the month. But we are going to go early, see her cheer performance, and celebrate her birthday. She's getting a lot older, so she doesn't really have birthday parties. It's more like sleepover kind of things, and Ani does not need to be there for that. So let me show you some cards that I have gotten. I've been a little behind on that because of the holidays. So I'm going to show you, and I might have shown you this one. This one's from Sean. So thank you so much. And I think I did show you this, and it just talks about family and Christmas, and I thought it was so cute. Thank you. And this one is from Robin. Great way to use the paper pumpkin. Oh, and she wrote me a nice note. So thank you so much, Robin. I just love these. I made all those up for neighbors and gave out candies and chocolates with that one. Marcia Hunt, thank you so much. This was so cute. I just love this set. Okay, I did open it when I got it. I'm just trying to remember if it just untied. Yeah. And look how neat this is. So it's got two, like a card, a sentiment. Very cool. So thank you very much. My husband just laughs when I get cards. He's like, oh my gosh, you got a lot of cards. I love getting cards from you guys. Bobette, thank you so much. Look at this little guy, how cute. And a little ho ho ho. Very cute, thank you. from the Brooks family, Angela. Look how beautiful that is. I might have shown a couple of these, and I apologize if I did, but it was the holiday. Oh, and then this was on top here to protect it. I love the colors. They just look so nice and subtle, but yeah, bright. Beautiful card. My friend Shar, who lives in Florida. So cute with the embossed and the snowflakes. I believe this little guy sat up. So cute. Thank you so much, Shar. Robin Miller. Again, a beautiful set. This is a larger card. It's absolutely stunning. And there's some bling on there. Oh, look what she did on the inside. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. Maybe I'll do larger cards next year. Proudy. How pretty. Again, I love the DSP. Beautiful. Thank you, Rosie. Harry. Oh, what a beautiful one. I love these snowflakes. I bought some extras because I just really liked them when they were retiring. I was like, I have to have that. Beautiful. Thank you. This one is from Betty, who lives in town. Oh, this was for our anniversary. So nice. Look at that, how pretty that is. So she is a customer in town. Susan Zastro. I love how you did the flap. She embossed the flap with snowflakes. Isn't that pretty? I know it's kind of hard to see. So pretty. Hi, Megan. Welcome. Oops, here we go. Beautiful. I love, look how neat she put the sentiment right on the inside on a label. Rebecca Chapman, anniversary for us. Oh, she said I have to protect the bling, and she put that on top. So pretty. And of course, I love the added DSP on the inside. This was inside something else, I believe, because it says candy, and so, but it's in a regular envelope like this, so I think it was inside something else. Look how pretty that is. So pretty. I love that watermelon set. And this one is from one of my team members, Kathy White. Look how pretty that is. Watch this. And we're going to be doing something like this very, very soon. Isn't that beautiful? And I like how she used the negative to this down here. Look at that. So this is that polka dotted gold paper. Oh, I thought I had some over here. So I was thinking of doing something with that, but I think I moved it. But she did the reverse, and then she really decorated all that up. Isn't that neat? So we are going to learn how to do this for bingo. Ooh, I'm going to do this for bingo. So this will be one of our projects. Not exactly this card, but that fold will be in bingo. So hopefully you'll join because we will be doing it. All right, those are all the cards the last bit of cards that I have not shared. So I'm going to move those out of my way here. Yay. All right, so today I have to say I had a couple of different ideas for a card today. And then I decided I wanted to show you, I was going to show you how to pick and choose items out of your little buckets, right? Because I have all these little buckets of things. But then I decided, well, what I have, and I'll show you what I was going to do because I'm not going to do it after all. And I just dropped part of it, but here it is. Okay, so what I was going to do is show you this. You saw that I did this card last week, and I was, you know, made this some birthday cards, and this was some extra scraps. So look what happened. I ended up, because I did a bunch of DSP, oh, not that one, and I ended up with some extra pieces of DSP. I ended up with extra labels and just a few extra things. And so then I thought, all right, you know what? I'm just going to show you. I pulled out that bucket and I just put some stuff together here, and I pulled a bunch of little doodads out. But I did do this, this die. I did these two right here to get a color. And so I was just going to kind of throw it together and show you, but then I thought, I don't want a whole video on that because, you know, that's pretty simple. And same card, same DSP I used before, but I just wanted to show you really quickly. I just had all these extra little pieces, so you can add this little flower here or over here or whatever. I chose not to use this one. I like that one better. Again, now I'm just throwing it together, but we're gonna, you could put this under here, okay? So it kind of gives you the same effect that we had before, but you're using stuff out of your little buckets. So we know we all have those little buckets that just have extra die cuts in them that you didn't need or you didn't use or you didn't like it with something else that you were working on. And so I just tied in these to be colors that match what I had. I had extra bling. So if I cut this all up and add it, oh, and then of course we can put a bow there, but I used my bow that I had, and it was the same pull party bow that we had that went right there. And so anyway, I just wanted to show you, pull out those little bits. If you have extra pieces, pull them out. Like this one right here, I have an extra Valentine's Day I could put on there. I have an extra this from what I just created. I could put something else on there. I mean, there's a lot of things that we could do to put together and create a card that's not going to take you much time because you have all these little bits and pieces in your little bucket. So I may end up doing I'll call it a bucket card, so that we can end up creating some just miscellaneous stuff with buckets, right? So we will have to kind of play with that. But then I decided to try a card that I have not tried yet. I was not going to get the stamp set because I was like, oh, I don't know. I mean, if I had teenagers, I would probably get it, but I don't. And my grandkids are a little too young, but my granddaughter would probably like this. And then I was like, but I love those bubbles. I like the bubbles because you can use these. Look at how pretty these bubbles are. To me, it's worth just the bubbles. But of course, when that happens to me, I have to buy the whole bundle, because if I decide to ever sell it, I could probably sell the dies by themselves, but it would be nicer with a stamp set. Then today I decided to use it, and I was like, you know what? This is really fun. We have cherry paper. I could have done a card with cherries. I happened to see the lemon paper and said, you know what? I'm going to go pull out this, and I knew it had a lemon. I forgot it had cherries, and I decided to do this. So we're going to create this, but we're going to do it a little bit different because now I have a whole different idea, and I'm going to show you how I came about it. So let's set that aside, and we're going to set this one aside, and we are going to bring this in, and we're going to change, pretty much use exactly the same stuff on this card, but we're going to change it up on this card, and I'm going to show you. Look at the inside of this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the patterns from the inside. We're going to move them to the outside, so we're going to make some changes. So let's put our card there. We are now going to, and I'll give you the measurements in a minute. We're going to move our bubbles, our bottle top, or I mean can top, or can bottom. Uh-oh, where did my, uh-oh. I lost my tab. We have to have a tab. Oh no. Well, I might have to do another tab. I don't know where it went. I had it here nice and safe, and now it is gone. Of course. Okay, I will die cut another tab out really quick. So what I used, the tab is attached to that. So weird. I had it. Okay, well, you know how it goes. So we're going to pull out our holographic paper. So that's this one here. And I'm just going to throw one of these on here real quick and die cut it. I'll find it as soon as the video is over. Sorry about that. I did have it. So the embossing folder I used is the Softly Sophisticated because I wanted something that was just kind of subtle. All right, here's my tab. Here's another bottom, and we will get the top of the lid out. All right, we don't need those. All right, but here's our tab. Okay, we don't want to lose that. Okay, so now it is so tiny, and I just had it, but I don't know what I did with it. And I picked up the envelope so carefully so I didn't lose anything, but that's okay. Let's move on. All right, so on this one, I used the Softly Sophisticated embossing folder. It's just subtle enough to give that white texture, and I kind of just wanted everything to be soft on this. That's why I decided to use a white can, and I just put the lemons on it. So we're going to do something kind of the same. We're going to not use this, so I'm going to set that aside. But we are going to go ahead and use this for the inside, this for the inside. We're going to need a regular white for the inside. Okay, so again, the inside is going to be 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Oh, you can't see that 4 very well. There we go, 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then we're going to take this, which is 4 by 5 1/4, and we're going to put it right on top. So these are the same size. So this is our inside. Because I changed this a little bit, let's go ahead and let's glue these together, but we may need to cut them. So this is the lemon paper, and the lemon paper is out of this right here. Delightfully eclectic, and it's this paper right here. It's got the daisies on the back. So that's where that came from. All right, so let's do this. I don't know if I told you guys, did I tell you I'm watching Pole Dart now? So I'm almost done. All right, so I'm just going to go right in the middle and go down right about there. And now it's going to be a little long for this, and that's okay. This one's not exactly straight, so what we're going to do is we're going to make it straight. And then we're going to go ahead and adhere it to our white. And this will be the inside. So we're just going to add a little bit on the inside. Again, with our mat here, I love the glass mat. You can just put that anywhere. I'm going to go one in. So I'm going to hold that. I'm going to start it at the bottom because that's the one I cut nice and straight. And I'm going to go up to the top. There we go. So I just went in one little square, which is 1/4 inch. And we're just going to cut this. And we're going to take our glued piece off here. There we go. All right, so here's our inside. So let's just go ahead and adhere that. You can write a little note. Now, because I switched the front and the back, this is bigger than I probably would have normally put it. But you could always still write a little note right here and make this just a quick little card. So sometimes I like making larger decorating on the inside because you don't have a lot to say. You just kind of want to say, hey, you know, thinking of you, or let's get together soon, or happy birthday, or whatever. And you don't need, you know, a big amount of paper, amount of space in there. So we're just gonna do that and add this on the inside of the card. So I like to look at the top and the bottom, and then I look down this way to make sure that that looks straight. And so we're good with that. Now for the front, let me give you the measurements, because now this is what was on the inside. So we're just going to change it up a little bit. 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. This one is 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. And then this one is 3 1/8 by 4 3/8 and 3 by 4 1/4. Oh, thank you, Marilyn. All right, so we're going to just layer these all up. So let's go ahead and add this onto this panel. All right. And then we're going to add this to this panel, but we're going to, we can emboss it if you want to, or we can leave it white. I am going to emboss both of these panels. So let's put them on. And this, I haven't really thought this out yet, but I think I'm going to emboss them both together. We want to add a little bit of texture. I don't want to put a solid white behind a white can, but we could change it up a little bit too. All right, so let's take our Softly Sophisticated 3D. All right. And remember, when you do that, the 3D, somebody just asked me the other day, whenever I use a 3D folder or the folder with the dies, when you do the, like the one with that hello in it or the hearts, you want to put that on your block, that, and then just on your plate 1, and then put the gray. Okay, so anything 3D, you want to do it that way. So the die for those folders fit inside the embossing folder, so it's not anything extra. You don't have extra thickness. It kind of fits in the die, so those other 2 dies. So okay, so I like that. We're going to give it a little bit of texture. So we'll put that there. And now we're going to bring in a piece of white paper, and I'll lay it on top of dark because I know it's kind of dark to see. Let me see if I can find a larger piece over here. Well, we're just going to put it on this big black piece. All right, so we'll just put it here. So what I did is I took the lemons, and I'm going to take crushed curry because I went with a darker color because we're going to stamp it off, but I wanted to make sure that it was dark enough to, once we stamp it off, we still have a good amount of ink on there. So I'm just going to stamp it off and then stamp. Stamp it off and stamp. And you could just do the solid dark one if you wanted to. Oops, you see that? I stamped and then I came back in. Make sure you turn it and kind of do different angles. Because what we're going to do, we're just creating our image for our card, for our can. I'm going to turn it because I've got both of those going that way. Oh, I forgot. So now we got to work over to the side because I forgot to stamp off. And all I'm doing is adding a little bit of a print in the background on the can. So now we're going to take our can die and just see how that fits on there. All right, so I kind of wanted to make sure I got a lot of leaves on there so that it kind of looks, that looks pretty empty. So I'm going to go back over this way. I'm going to add something right there. I'm going to add right there just to make sure. All right, so I think that's good. I'm just going to add it there. So let me die cut that out. Switch out my plates here. Looking on my floor thinking my tab would be there, but nope. All right. Now we need to stamp our lemons. So we're just going to use this scrap piece here. I should tape this because I'm sure this is driving you guys crazy. Like it is me. All right. Let me clean this off. Hi, Nika. How are you? All right. So now we're going to do black. We're changing up our card a little bit if you're just getting on. I'm going to do 2 lemons. And I'm not going to put a lemon on the inside like I did the other one because now we have the DSP on the inside. So I'm not worried about adding that. But we also, I have these extra little pieces of paper over here. So I'm going to use this for my sentiment, which is right here. And it says, "You're so delightful." Look at that. "You're so delightful." So I thought this would be really cute for the grandkids. Nice to have some cards on hand. Hopefully my head's not in the way. So look at that. Perfect size. I had a bunch of them. So I keep a little thing over there full of little strips like this. If I cut out certain small strips and I think, ooh, that's perfect. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in shaded spruce because we're going to use that on our leaves a little bit. And I'm just going to take this and get just the leaves on here. I'm going to stamp off and then I'm going to stamp just a little bit on the leaves. And don't worry about that. I should have wiped off. I forgot to wipe the black off. And then we're just going to do a little bit right there. So there we go. And then we can just cut this straight. I'm going to cut it right there. And this one I'm just going to trim a little because I want to make sure it's going to fit. I had a yellow strip here somewhere that I'll look for after I get this off my finger. Ooh, a new kitchen. Very nice. Let's see. Is there shaded spruce cardstock? Yes, there is. Cynthia, I don't know if it's out of stock or not, but there is shaded spruce cardstock, yes. We have color in every... Where did my piece of paper go? Boy, I'm telling you, I had everything and now it's disappeared. Well, we will just find another piece. So we'll get this. Let's color our lemons. We're going to do one I did with dark lemon lolly. And the reason is I did not look to see what color this was. I'll tell you. Oh, no, it's not in here. I went through this. It's probably in the middle of these, the stack. But my Daffodil Delight ribbon blends are, I ordered more because they're like, I used them, whatever the last project was a whole lot of using them. So I went with the dark lemon lolly, and I just went over it a couple times, and it blends fine. And it looks like there's 2 different shades on here anyway, so I think it is a lemon lolly and maybe a crushed curry or daffodil and crushed curry. This front of this card doesn't have the petal pink, but it does right there. So it has both colors, so I just did both. And then I went over it twice, and then I'm going to move to this card, and then I'm going to come back to this one in a minute. So I got petal pink, the dark petal pink. Now remember, you're using alcohol on top of your memento. So you don't really want to do a whole lot of coloring on it because it will start to bleed. But you could also use stays on if you want. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of that on there. And then I go back to this one and I just add just where those dots are, just a little bit darker. And now that's dry, I'm going to come back in and just do another, just make it a little darker. All right, so there we go. And then I took Shaded Spruce and I take the bullet in and I just did the larger leaf. It has 2 different colors on the paper. So I just took the 2 different colors and also did the same thing. And then I'm taking the light Granny Apple Green. And I actually kind of think it was on the paper. That might be Old Olive, but it's hard to tell. But this one kind of looked really close to it. So I'm just going to do the Granny Apple Green. All right, so there's those. All right, now we're going to take, let's take, oh, maybe this is the piece I have right here. I don't know if this one's long enough. Oh, perfect. All right, so we're going to take this, our sentiment, and just add it to a little strip of Daffodil Delight. There we go. And now we just need to cut it this way. I'm going to do it with scissors. Currently unavailable. Okay. Hi, Eva. How are you? All right. So we're just going to cut this straight down. All right. So there's our sentiment. So we'll put that over here. And I'm going to go ahead and move this now. All right, so we're looking at this, but I'm not liking how this is going to be white on white now. So I'm kind of thinking what I might do is cut out that can. See, this is what we get for switching up on the card. Is now let's think about what we're going to do. So I'm going to do a yellow behind it. So let's get the Daffodil Delight. And I'm going to cut one of these out. We're going to give it a little bit of a shadow behind it. Just to add a little layer of color. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this. And I'm just going to add a little. We're going to do the sentiment to the left still. So I'm just going to add this to the right. Just a little bit. All right, so I'm just have that little bit of a yellow on there. We have our sentiment. We have our bubbles. We need to add this. Now, see how it looks a little darker on the inside right there? Because otherwise what's going to happen is you have that hole and you're going to see your lemons through. And I thought that was kind of odd. So what I decided to do is I'm going to pull out this paper again. And I'm just going to cut off a little piece. But we're going to take our scrap piece first. And we are going to color that. And I used the light basic black. And so I'm just going to color that right there. It's on slick, so I'm going to just let it dry for a second. So we'll just cut this piece off. And then I'm going to die cut our lemons out. So right here you can create your lemons or your peach or your cherries or whatever you want. But you can also use the outline here for your stamped images. Okay, so you can still use these to pop them up if you wanted to do that. But we're going to add, I'm going to go die cut these out. So let me get these. So I had a team member the other day was asking me about the new cut and emboss machine because she has one of the other machines. Actually, I've had two members ask, but one of them decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just bite the bullet and buy the new machine. And she has the Big Shot, which when we had the Big Shot, it was a great machine. But I have to tell you, and I told her this, I said, I think you will be so happy when you buy the new cut and emboss machine because it is just completely different. It just is so smooth and works great. And so she did, and she called me the other day and she said, oh my gosh, you are so right. Because like she has a bad shoulder, which is interesting because we have a couple of other team members with, you know, a bad arm and a bad hand. And everybody agrees that it's just a phenomenal machine and they can use it no problem. And of course I shared, like I told you guys, I had the all the other machines. I have electric machines. This is my go-to. I do this machine all the time because it's easier, faster. Electric just takes a long time. And I have ones where you have to sit there and hold the button, and I have ones where you just hit the button, but then you're sitting there waiting, seems like forever. So I am super happy that I also decided to get the other machine. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down. So I'm just going to cut all these extra little pieces off. You don't need a very big piece. So I'm just going to cut that down and make sure nothing sticks out. And that's fine. So what I do is I'm going to bring in the mat so I don't get glue all over because I don't want to clean it up on video. We'll just keep on moving. Is I'm going to add my glue around here. And at first I'm going to get the darker, because I colored it, to go on the inside. Okay, so be careful of that. And now, and there's glue, that's why I wanted to do it this way, because there's glue on the front too, because it oozes through. See those lines? They're cuts. You kind of got to be careful of that. Oh, no problem, Melanie. How are you? All right, so we're just going to add our glue. And we're going to add it to our project. So let's bring this down here. Add it. So that also is going to take away all that extra yellow color. Okay, so we want to add that on there. If I can pick it up. There we go. All right, but now we need our tab. So the tab that I just did, where did it go? What is up with that tab? All right, do you guys see it? I thought I had it right here. Oh, I do. Look, it's right under here. Whew, thought I was losing my mind. All right, so what I did is I kind of bent it up a little bit. And then I held the top of the big tab part, and I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on these right around the bottom hole there. What I like about this card is it's kind of unisex. You know, you can do it for a guy or a girl, or, you know, change it into a beer if you want to, or whatever. All right, so I'm just going to add the tab a little over because it has to pop in, right? It has to pop inside that inside the hole. So if you look at this one, while I'm holding this other one, it's kind of, oh look, it's stuck. This was kind of popped up a little bit. So see, it's kind of popped up a little bit, but I have it hanging over just a little because that has to be what holds it in there. Big Shot was electric, but old. I need more and more shims, so I decided to purchase a Stampin' Up machine. Should have done that sooner. Oh, yeah, I agree completely. I have manual and electric die cutting machine. I brought the electric because the neck and shoulder pain. Yeah, Donna, I mean, I bought it just because I thought it would be faster. And I thought it would be, you know, I could put stuff in and kind of walk away and do other stuff, but that's not the case. I want it faster so I can get things together and do it right. All right, so now we're going to add our larger dimensionals on here. Here we go. So I added one on each. On the lemon one, I'm going to add it to this side over here because I kind of want to snuggle them up together. And then I'm going to use my mini, and I'm going to add one right here. And I'm going to add one right here. All right, so we're going to do the same for the front of the card. Let's just put our drink here. I'm just going to put that right there. And although the dimensional will hold just fine, I'm going to add just a little bit of glue right there because, you know, I just like to add that little extra. And so I'm going to put that one there. And I notice I moved them over just a tad because when I did this card, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with the sentiment and where it was going to fit. And I really want my lemons to show. And so let's bring in our front panel and let's put it on our card. Hope everybody has a good week planned. Speaking of planned, I told you guys that I wasn't sure if I will be here Wednesday. Lucky me, am having oral surgery on Tuesday. So they said 4 to 6 days. I'll probably be in a little bit of pain. So I'm just saying, might not be here. All right, we're going to pop this up. And I'm going to pop that up because that's just what I want to do. All right. Whenever I do a larger panel, I like to do the inside, but I like to push them in just a bit because I want to cover this part, but I also want to cover the outside center part. So we're just going to add this. Oops. Staggering the plates is the key for sure. All right, so we're just going to put this right here in the middle. We are going to put our can. I'm going to move it over here because I definitely want to put our pretty bubbles. I didn't do these on, we're looking at a smaller piece here too. It's not as large as this one was. We decided to change it up because this is what's on the inside. And I kind of liked all that layering. So I thought, oh, maybe I'll switch it up and do it on the outside. So you can kind of come up with whatever. Now, I could have done this on adhesive back, but I did not. This part down here is going under the can. So I'm going to hold it right here. And I am just going to add a little bit of glue on everything. And you want to put a little because you don't want it to squish all over, but you've got to decide too, I'm putting it on an embossed piece. So I want to be careful, but I want to make sure I have enough to adhere this to the card. I'm holding it right here because I don't have adhesive there. I'm going to go all the way to the corner right there and kind of probably bring it over just a tad. All right. Now we're going to pop up our can. Your mini wobbles all over the place, so I have it downstairs for when my Stampin' BFF comes over on vacation. Happy hand. You know, put the silicone mat underneath. That helps. I agree with that, though. The mini does kind of move a little bit. I do the silicone mat, too. I do not die cut on my glass because I'm just afraid with the pushing on it. I just don't want to have any issues and break my precious glass, so I decided I'll just move it. Oh, I wish my husband did. He knows, my husband knows that when he retires, we've had this discussion. When he retires, he will be in charge of packaging the paper shares and putting my labels on them. I will help him, but he's got certain things he's got to do. Now, we got to see how this is going to work because everything's smaller now, right? So I don't mind even going sideways because it's such a cute little fun card. I think I'm going to do that. You could cut it. If I would have realized it, I could have put your and then So Delightful. We could just go across the bottom. We could go farther across the drinks if you wanted and put it like that. Why are the bubbles under the can? Shouldn't they be coming out of the opening? They could. Here's my issue about that is because the can is pretty big. So if I had the can, so see this one? If I had the can down farther, I'd have to have the bubbles like all the way to the very top. And so I think it's fine like that because bubbles start falling after they come out anyway. And so I was okay with putting them behind. And this one's definitely, we're working on a much smaller surface. And this is raised, so that would have been a lot harder to raise it up like that. Hi, Margie, how are you? All right, so I'm thinking I'm going to do it. Let's see if we go under or over, because you're not really going to be, I think I'm going to do it like that. So we're going to put 2 dimensionals on the left side. I'm going to do 2 small ones because we're going to be barely hanging off the edge. So remember, this card here is the one that's kind of going rogue because I'm just kind of coming up with it as I go. Just because I saw the inside. So let's see if we put that there. And then we just put 1 right there. And then we'll put glue right there. So there's a dimensional here and here. So that's why I have 2 on the end right here. Oh, that's funny. He die cuts for you on vacation. I told my husband, you're going to die cut for me because you're going to get a vacation. No, he's fine with helping. He's like, I'll help, but I'm not stamping anything. I'll just ruin all your stuff. All right, so we're just going to go like right here. It's a fun card. We're just going to make it fun. So we're going to make that at an angle so it's a little different than this one. I like adding that yellow line right there. Kind of gives it a little more depth on the project. And now what I used for the embellishments is I brought in these tinsel gems. This is the 4-pack of tinsel gems. And so I'm going to add a small one here. And I added large ones here. Now these even, you can make them look like the bubbles. So you could take this and move it over here, kind of like it's coming out of the can. And just kind of follow those bubbles if you wanted. Kind of fun. So here's the difference. So this one is the first one I originally did. And then once I did the small one, or the inside, I was like, you know what? That would be a really cool front. So that's why I decided to change it up. And I made that kind of the front. And then the inside, I added this over here. There's still plenty of room to write, but there you go. So that really looks like you changed it up, a lot of cards. But it's really just the same card. You're just kind of changing your pieces around a little bit. Thanks, Eva. So those are the cards for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. And thanks for just seeing how I can do some different, different patterns, different templates, I guess you can say, and have fun with that. So don't forget, I have bingo sign up again for February listed below. You can go right there and check out the registration and sign up and get a chance to win a $100 shopping with my Stampin' Up store. For those of you that won last week, don't forget to send me in your order. You have to email me your order, and then I will put it in the system, screenshot it for you, send it back to you with an invoice of just the balance you owe, the first $100 I paid for. So just make sure that you do that. Oh, good. I'm glad you guys like the cards. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Janine. It's just a simple surgery. So what happened was when I was young, I used to chew the inside of my cheek a lot, which is really funny. I was telling the doctor, I was not a nervous kid. I didn't have stress. Everything was normal and fine. And I said, but apparently I chewed the inside of my cheek. So now I have like scar tissue on the inside of my cheek. Well, every once in a while I bite it, and I bite it hard. And so I asked him, is there a way to get rid of that? And he goes, oh yeah, it's a really simple surgery. And procedure. He didn't say surgery, but it's an oral surgeon, right? So I said, well, so what do I do? And he said, you want to do it today? And I was like, no, because that was the weekend of our anniversary. And of course, my husband said, it was the end of the year. You could have had it covered with the deductible. And I thought about that, but no. So I said, no, I'll come back. So it's going to be simple. Don't go under or anything like that. And I think I'm going to be fine. So if I do come, it's probably going to be a simple card. But if I don't, I will post on my Facebook page if I will be here or not. But I'm sure I'll be just fine. And but I'm gonna milk it. I told my husband, oh, I can't do anything for like a week. The doctor said so. He'll make dinner. No, so I'll probably just be like 4 days would be my guess. So I'll be just fine after that. So anyway, thanks for joining me today. Wonderful to catch you live. Marcie School goes back at the end of the month, so making the most of life. Oh, good, Nicole. Well, I'm glad you were able to join us live. And thank goodness for the replays, right? All right, I am also going to be doing some prize patrol type things on my next live video. So make sure you come back and leave a comment. Watch as many videos as you can while I'm gone. And I will see you a week from today for sure. All right, everybody, have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.